Well, this is kind of a different sort of video for me. But a few months ago, I ended a series on the book of Revelation. We went for 64 studies, and I want to thank all of you who told me you watched every one, some of you more than once. Thank you for that. But in Revelation 13, if you remember, there's a very interesting passage where it speaks of the beast or the Antichrist rising to power along with the false prophet. Together, they will establish a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world financial system. At that point, midway through Revelation 13, people are going to be given a choice. Worship the Antichrist and take a mark to indicate that you do, or you can refuse and you will die. Now, that mark, called the mark of the beast, not only indicates you have willingly chosen to worship the beast, it will also determine your financial situation. Refuse to take it, and you will be shut out of the world's finances. You won't be able to bank, buy, or sell. And let's look at this in Revelation 13, 15 through 18. It says, the second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. So, for those who have the mark, they'll be in the system, and they'll be allowed to go into stores and get the necessities they need to live. They will be able to put gas in their car, go get a fast food hamburger, attend movies and sporting events, and purchase clothing for their children. But those who refuse the mark will be shut out. They won't be able to do any of that. Now, for this to happen, though, it's going to take a system that can track every transaction that takes place anywhere in the world. And it wasn't that long ago, something like that would seem to be such a colossal undertaking that it was almost unthinkable. But with today's powerful computers, all linked through the internet that is faster and able to handle more data, then add digital cryptocurrency, and what looked like it was in the distant future is now right on the doorstep. This is no longer a pipe dream for the globalist. The reality is this is about to happen. Now, to prove this, I want to play a video for you that was sent to me, and I was shocked by what was being said. The speaker is Dr. Pippa Malmgreen, and maybe you've seen this, but she's addressing the 2022 World Government Summit. Now, Dr. Malmgren has quite the resume, and this comes from her webpage. It says Dr. Malmgren brings simple sense-making to the complexities of the world economy, geopolitics, and technology. She's advised presidents and prime ministers, co-founded an award-winning tech firm, worked in finance and asset management, and served as a judge in the Queen's Enterprise Awards competition and as a regulator of technology standards. So when it comes to finances, she's a heavy hitter on the world stage. Now listen to what she says in this video. And again, this is at the 2022 World Government Summit.
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in '71. And so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well.
Now, did you get that? She said, we are on the brink. In other words, this is happening now. We are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. Again, she says, we're about to. This isn't way off in the future. This is about to happen. Now, as students of the Bible, we understand something like this has to happen for what Revelation says to come true. And isn't it amazing? Revelation was predicting something like this over 2,000 years ago. She goes on to explain what this new system of money and accounting will look like. The new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital. Now, listen to this. It means having an almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy. Well, there it is. That makes Revelation 13 possible, doesn't it? But she's not done. She says, but also this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. So you think you're protected with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or any of the many others that have sprung up? Well, it seems to me, if I'm hearing this right, that digital currency in the end is only going to make it easier to track the transactions, every transaction. Now listen to what Glenn Beck said. He said, we are going to go to a different currency, and each of us has to decide now, am I going to be a part of that currency? Because that currency is programmable. Read it for yourself. Go to the Fed or go to the Treasury. It's programmable, which means it will follow you. They can cancel it anytime and say it doesn't work at these stores. And they're doing that because of modern monetary theory. The second half of monetary theory is programmable money, but that means they can treat you like the Canadian trucker and completely cut you off. Well, now work all that out in light of Revelation 13. This will end up making it possible to regulate who can buy and who can sell. So the technology for a one world currency that can be used to control the populace, it's here right now. World governments are already introducing the reality of a new cashless society that is going to affect every one of us. Now, when is this going to happen? Well, soon. President Biden has signed an executive order for different agencies to look into an e-currency in the United States. And he has given them 210 days to get back to him. Now, because of this, some believe the U.S. could have a digital currency by Christmas. Now, we'll see if that's true. We just know it's close. And think of the ramifications. Think of what this can mean. Now, we know there are those pushing a green agenda in the government, but now hand them control of your money? So let's say you want to purchase gas for your car, but in their view, you've already used too much gas. You're hurting the environment. So they simply turn that ability off until your next allotment comes up again. And it doesn't matter if you have to get to work or not. Or you do go to work and you're no longer paid in cash. It's now this programmable digital currency. Because it is programmable, it is easily controlled. So you do something, have an opinion that goes against the government's agenda, and now instead of being blocked on social media, the next time you go to the store to purchase food, you can't. You're being taught a lesson of what happens when you don't toe the line. Listen to this worrying headline from the Telegraph in the UK. The Telegraph is a big paper there. Bank of England tells ministers, that's ministers, officials in the government, Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming. Now here's the subhead. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible. Now, what does that mean? And who gets to determine what's essential, what's sensible for me? This could redefine what freedom is in every area of our life. For any government to have this kind of power over us is horrifying. This means they can control citizens with the push of a button. And think of this, the threat of being cut off will keep people in line, won't it? Everything from food to fuel for heating, gas for your car, and clothing for your children. Your ability to purchase those will be determined by somebody else. The government will have the power to shut you out. And what about those who don't trust banks right now or who are holding non-digital gold or silver at home? Well, I imagine there will be a time when we're told that after a certain date, none of that will be any good. So you must turn it into digital bank currency that is programmable or lose it. Well, I think that's enough, isn't it? So let's close this up. This is happening just like the Bible said it would. And honestly, I don't know how much the believer will be affected before the Lord takes us out of here. It may be a little or it may be a lot. We do know we will be gone before the mark of the beast is introduced, but that doesn't mean we won't be here when this technology is put into place. And it doesn't mean it won't get really rough. You know what? I think it will. So we need to be ready. But we shouldn't be frightened because no matter how tough it gets, the promises from our loving Father remain firm. He is faithful to his children. He is faithful to his promises. He said he would take care of us. Therefore, he tells us to be anxious for nothing. So this will be different for the believer and the unbeliever. The believer has a heavenly Father. We are not like those who have no hope, are we? So let me say to those who have not placed their faith in the Savior, all this shows how close his call to the church to come up and be with him is. So make sure you're right with him and you're ready to go. You must be ready. Well, all right, guys, we are living in really interesting times, aren't we? And can I ask you, the Footnote family out there, to help us get the truth out? Hit those buttons. And if you want to help financially so we can keep this thing going, the links are in the description area. Time is running out, isn't it? Therefore, we must get the truth out to everybody we can in every way we can. It is so urgent right now, isn't it? So, God bless you guys. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.